How do you actually incorporate a Sdn Bhd in Malaysia? Here's the direct answer. You reserve a company name through SSM's MyCoID portal, then submit the incorporation application, what everyone in the industry just calls the superform, and pay a flat registration fee of 1,010 ringgit. SSM then issues a notice of registration. And that's the moment the company legally exists. At PT Corporate Services, we act as a named company secretary under the Companies Act 2016. And this is the question every founder asks us first. So let's walk through exactly what a Sdn Bhd is, what the law actually requires, how the MyCoID process works step by step, and the deadlines that hit you in year one. Sdn Bhd is short for Sdn Bhd, Malaysia's private company limited by shares. Once it's registered under the Companies Act 2016, the company becomes its own legal person. It can own assets, sign contracts, borrow money, and sue or be sued in its own name. Its shareholders' liability is limited to what they agreed to pay for their shares. Business debts are the company's debts, not, in the ordinary course, the owner's personal debts. A private company can have up to 50 shareholders, and in practice, a Sdn Bhd is the default vehicle for any Malaysian business that carries real risk, wants to contract with larger corporates, plans to hire, or wants to bring in partners or investors. It isn't automatically the right choice for everyone. A small, low-risk, one-person operation is often better served starting out as a sole proprietorship. 4 requirements, and they're non-negotiable. 1 shareholder at minimum that can be a single person who is also the sole director. At least 1 director who is a natural person, 18 or older, and who ordinarily resides in Malaysia. Foreign-owned companies satisfy this by appointing 1 Malaysia resident director alongside any foreign directors. A company secretary, a natural person who's a Malaysian citizen or permanent resident, licensed or a member of a prescribed professional body, appointed within 30 days of incorporation, and a registered office in Malaysia. A real, accessible address where statutory records are kept, not just any home address you jot down. There's no minimum share capital. A Sdn Bhd can legally be incorporated with a single 1 ringgit share, though banks, licensing authorities, and customers often read paid-up capital as a signal of substance, so it's worth thinking about practically, not just legally. Incorporation runs entirely through SSM's MyCoID 2016 portal in 4 steps. Step 1. Search and reserve your company name. Straightforward names clear quickly. Names with controlled words go to manual review. Once approved, the name is held for 30 days. Step 2. Submit the superform under Section 14 of the Companies Act. It captures the company name, business activity codes, registered office, every director and shareholder, and the share structure. Step 3. SSM issues the Section 15 Notice of Registration. This is the moment the company actually comes into existence, and for a clean, complete application, it commonly arrives within days. Step 4. The Certificate of Incorporation under Section 17 isn't automatic. You request it and pay for it, but banks and contract counterparties usually want to see it. The Notice of Registration is the beginning, not the end. Within 30 days of incorporation, you must appoint your company secretary. That's the first hard statutory deadline, and the easiest one to miss in the excitement of starting up. Within 18 months of incorporation, your first financial statements are due, audited unless you qualify for an exemption, and after that, within 6 months of every financial year end. Within 30 days of circulating those statements, they get lodged with SSM through MBRS. And within 30 days of every incorporation anniversary, the annual return is due. Note that no annual return falls due in the calendar year you incorporate, which is exactly why founders forget the first real one. One more that trips people up. Any change to directors, the secretary, the registered office, or shareholding has to be notified to SSM within 14 days of the event. So, to recap, incorporating a Sdn Bhd means reserving a name, filing the superform, paying the flat 1,010 ringgit fee, and receiving your Section 15 notice, then appointing a company secretary within 30 days, and picking up a compliance calendar anchored to your incorporation date and financial year end from there. The paperwork is procedural, but the deadlines are unforgiving, and that's exactly where a named company secretary earns their keep. At PT Corporate Services, we take the whole process name to notice of registration to your first filings off your desk, and we confirm scope and fee upfront before any work begins. Message us on WhatsApp. And the full written breakdown, with every SSM section referenced, is on our website.